All right. Apparently, a new Twitch TOS update just got updated, right? Apparently, I don't know. This was like 6 hours ago that got uploaded, right? Just came up on my feed, right? And apparently, it's targeting VTubers? Question mark. I'm wondering what's it all. I'm wondering if it has to do with certain VTubers doing certain things. You know, that's what I'm kind of curious about. You know, but let's see. Let's take a look, shall we?
Twitch recently updated their policy, and by all means, I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with said policy. And today we're going to talk about how VTubers in general have been disagreeing with Twitch's policy, because a lot of them weighed in on Twitch's new updated policy about a lot of different aspects, whether it be, you know, attire of VTuber models, what classifies a VTuber model based on the software that they're using, and or, you know, I guess stuff like you know, taking donations for subs, bits, and what have you. So let's start with this tweet specifically from Eva Evanstar that says VTubers need to cover their hips and buttocks, not allowed to take shots for donors anymore, and must.
Wait, VTubers need to cover their hips and butts, not allowed to take shots for donos anymore, and must refrain from doing sexual jokes / sexual framing if they have a loli / shota model. Meanwhile, on Twitch, I'm sorry, but an anime buttocks will always be more gracious and dignified than a real one. So you're supposed to cover your hips and your ass as a VTuber model. And you're not allowed to take shots for donos anymore. Which that kind of really doesn't apply to me in my personal opinion, you know? And also, like, I've never shown my hips or my ass, to be honest. And also, apparently you can't do sexual jokes if you have a loli or a shota model, apparently. Apparently this is what it is. So Naka about to drop the Z Cup model, but then new TOS came out. Yeah, my boobas were gonna go be real, bigger.
Sexual framing if they have a loli shota models. Meanwhile, on Twitch, there's stuff like this, which is fair. Stuff like that does exist on Twitch, and it is absolutely unfair that VTubers seem to be targeted with Twitch's
I guess so, right?
Updates. Why do I say that VTubers are targeted with Twitch's policy updates? Well, as Elara points out, you know, VTuber Twitch bans are about to get a lot worse because, you know, enforcement notes that Twitch added says that depicting fictional anime and characters of a childlike appearance, such as loli shotas with any kind of sexual framing, is not allowed. This applies to VTubers and within games where avatars are uploaded, such as VRChat, with childlike avatars, even if the broadcaster and operator of the avatar is above the age of 18.
Okay, so this also applies to VRChat as well. VRChat people. Okay.
Right? You know, simple enough, I guess, to understand. But then the question remains, what qualifies as a loli or a shota as a character? Do chibi models qualify as those things? Are somewhat childlike models, you know, qualified in those aspects? Like, how do you really determine what is a loli or a shota? No.
Everybody knows what a loli and a shota is, okay? Everybody knows exactly what a loli and a shota is, okay? Let's not pretend here, Mr. Just Evan. Let's not pretend here, you know, like, what's a shota, what's a loli? A chibi character is a chibi character, okay? All right? There's a difference between a chibi character, a chibi model, and a loli, okay? There's like a big, huge difference between both of them, okay? I'm sorry, I've been in the anime community for such a long time, and I know the difference between both of them, okay? It's not rocket science, okay? When did we start making things like super complicated now these days? Like, oh, but what if, or what about this, you know, or but this, you know? So what's a Lola and a loli? This motherfucker.
No one really knows because Twitch didn't make that clear. However, they did say any humor regarding anything sexual in relation to minors will result in an immediate action on your account. That part is fair across the board. But in general, everyone is a little confused. A lot of it mostly due to the fact that Twitch added this on top of it, their attire policy, applying to VTubers in the same way as it applies to other streamers. Genitalia, buttocks, hips, female presenting nipples, and underbust must be covered at all times on general streams. These guidelines apply to VTuber models, but not video game characters, including those uploaded into games such as VRChat.
Okay, so genitalia is understandable. Ass is pretty understandable. Hips are kind of a little bit weird in my personal opinion, but I guess you can't have hip windows anymore, I guess. Females presented nipples, of course, that's fucking obvious. Underbust is kind of I can kind of see why the underbust is also under this rule, because, well, lordy behold, it's not rocket science. You can kind of basically tell, right? Must be covered up at all times in general. These guidelines apply to VTubers, but not in video game characters, including those uploaded into games such as VRChat. So with VRChat, it's fine. I can still use my VRChat models without any problem whatsoever. So hip coverage is often forgotten in this rule. Please be sure that your VTuber model covers this area. I'm pretty much good. I'm solid. Even then, it's not like I'm going to be showing my hips all the time. I'm not going to be showing my full model all the damn time. I'm probably going to only show it, like, at the beginning or so, like, to show, like, oh, hey, guys, look here. Here it is,
Hip coverage is often forgotten in this rule. Please be sure that your VTuber model covers this area, which led a lot of the VTubers on Twitter to basically go, a little ballistic, wondering, well, what do you mean by we have to cover our hips? And honestly, it's led to some of the more concerned.
What do you, what? It's just, does it suck? Yes, it does fucking suck. It's not like I'm saying, it's not like I'm saying, like, yeah, woo, hip coverage, let's go. No, it sucks, right? But let's come on, dude. Let's be honest here. What do you mean? What are hips?
Certain tweets I've seen, and a lot of them are just pretty much funny, I guess, because we have people like Dusko saying hips don't lie, but they can get you banned. I don't get that video game characters is considered okay, but God forbid if it's a VTuber, Twitch, stop bullying my Oshis and bully their Oshis. Twitch has been doing over time. Why? Because
I feel like this will be fine, because you want to know the reason why is because, like, some of these, well, not all of them, right? But some of the VTubers or so, right, specifically don't show their hips, at the end of the day, right? Like, they don't, it's not like they're, like, plastering their fucking hips on the fucking monitor screen, like, 24/7,
Twitch has banned people like Fifi. She got banned, like, 5 times, right? Like, in a month. Like, just earlier this year.
Yeah, that does suck, in my personal opinion, of her getting banned
a couple times this year, including.
Yeah, the Shondo ban was also pretty stupid too, as well. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's probably, What about my phrase? Zip those lips, move them hips.
On her birthday, it has been a very confusing time in general for VTubers, and it's a confusing time for me because even I went ahead and I tweeted. I said VTubers wanted to be treated similarly to flesh tubers, and Twitch updated their policies to reflect that. And now it seems like VTubers don't want that, especially from the tweets, again, that I saw where there were a lot of VTubers just saying, hey, it's not fair. Like, what do you mean we have to cover our hips? Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. However, I do want to add to that, as I did in my own tweet, saying, the policies are targeted, but they do bring them in line as what's always been expected of face cam streamers. And I'm not a VTuber, but I understand the concerns. You can't change a model design after you've poured thousands of dollars into it, and it does suck. And Rima herself commenting saying, I think the issue is that they're letting flesh streamers get away with so much more than VTubers do, which I do think is a fair statement. I think that a lot of VTubers are getting banned a lot for a lot of issues that they are uncertain of, and Twitch has never really made that clear. But Twitch did have an update like earlier this year, or I guess a few months ago, where they said that they would make their bans a lot more clear as to why people are getting bans, providing a clip and context to, for the ban. But the other thing that I think a lot of people are not realizing is that Twitch has basically had these policies in place since 2020, when they updated their nudity and attire policy 4 years ago. Granted, this was the start of the VTuber boom, yet so many VTubers went out of their way to go ahead and still commission models that went against Twitch's 4-year-old policy. Who's at fault at that rate? I'm not sure. You tell me. However, people were saying that Twitch wasn't really banning the flesh tubers. For
so now I could just stream on the hub from now on.
But the thing is, Twitch did. Twitch didn't ban the implied nudity that was happening all over the platform. Several of their streamers got banned, and most of them don't do that stuff anymore. And a lot of people had concerns. Well, why does the hot tubs, pools, and beaches category exist if VTubers aren't allowed to show hips on their models? The thing is, this category does allow everyone, including VTubers, to show their hips.
Look at that. That's my favorite. That's my favorite content right there. Random drive, Rambo driving a golf cart. That's my favorite right there. That's my favorite content right there. That's the best one.
Provided the context that they're in a hot tub, pool, or on a beach. And as you can see, the category itself is a lot much cleaner than it used to be, because Twitch did really enforce their policies.
That's a stream right there. Yeah, man. That's a stream right there. 100%.
Very confused on the platform. Some people saying no VTuber underboob on Twitch. I thought this was really funny. I just wanted to share this guy with you guys. You know, it's like we were going back to 1980. It's just, again, really hilarious. But the thing is, the policies have always been there, right? Policies have literally always been there. At the end of the day, though, you know, the tweets and concerns, they are valid. Because if you did commission a model that is extremely expensive, how do you then go ahead and change said model that costs you thousands of dollars? You can't. You really just can't, right? And I think a lot of people, you know, probably are just struggling to figure out, like,
yeah, but at the end of the day, right, you're commissioning this model, right? You're the person who gives the artist this kind of idea or ideal or so, right, to make this model, right? If you're gonna do something like some kind of like very like lewd, etchy, you know, very kind of like, you know exactly what you're doing, right? You know exactly what you're doing, and you make sure you know the rules or so off Twitch. But if you don't know the rules off Twitch, you shouldn't be doing it to begin with, right? Because that's gonna get you banned like pretty fucking quickly. But if you know the rules and you're still doing it and you don't care, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, all right, you know. So come on, everybody, come on, everybody kind of knows, like, you know, that Twitch is a streaming platform or something, right? For like, you know, kind of like people who play video games and stuff like that, and just chatting and art, and you know, that might have to add a couple of hundreds more to change it after this ToS. Yeah, probably have to do it or so for those people who were trying to, like, I guess, like, I get it, right? Sex sells, right? It's 100% understandable, right? Sex sells, right? Or anything lewd or anything just kind of like sells like hotcakes, right? Look at Bao and her horniness for wolfmen, you know. So anyways, like I said, right, it's kind of like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, some of the VTubers are not going to be affected by this, because you want to know the reason why is because they don't really do these kinds of things, right? It's like a very small subset group. Does it really suck? Oh yeah, definitely, 100% it sucks. I mean, what about Zen's model, Lamau? Kick stream, let's go. Does someone say pancakes? What? Pancakes? What? No one said pancakes. For the Zen, like I said, some of the things that Twitch did or so in the past, right, with some of the stupid warnings and everything like that. Oh yeah, 100%. It's kind of stupid, like the Shondo ban and everything like that, right? Like I said, I don't approve any of the stuff that they've done, right? You know who will get the burnt of the ToS? Not the big ones, because they bring money in the Twitch kick W. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna hit like it's not gonna hit like the, you know, like some of the, like, the majority ones, if you guys know exactly which ones I'm talking about, right? They're not gonna hit them as hard, you know, but it's gonna be the little people, definitely. But even then, at the end of the day, right, it's just like, for me, it's just like, I don't show any of these stuff, you know? It's not like I have like a fucking model or so that has like hip windows and stuff like that, and, you know, and everything like that, you know? So see, See, it's just a normal. It's just a normal, you know, fucking normal short and everything. So yeah, like it's not that crazy. It's not like I'm gonna fucking plaster my fucking like my fucking hips on the fucking screen for some apparent reason, you know.
What they should do, but I think that solutions are very simple. I mean, realistically speaking, when you're streaming as a flesh tuber, as a VTuber, what have you, we're mostly showing from the waist up. No one's gonna see the hips anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that solves most of the problems.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are still concerned because what differentiates a live 2D model from a VRChat model? Why can a VRChat model showcase a lot of the stuff that
because it's in a video game. That's why. That's the difference. It's in a video game. It's in a social video game. Like, am I just like what's happening here? What's happening here? Why are we making this shit so complicated than it needs to be?
Live 2D models can't. We're gonna get into that here in a second, but people still want to understand what they mean by hips, you know, and what Twitch means by hips was again talked about in that policy update back in 2020. All right, and in that policy update, someone went ahead in 2023 when they had updated it yet again and showcased exactly what you could and could not show. And this is Twitch's attire guide. I don't really want to show too much of it, but essentially everything laid out here is okay. All right, they ask that you cover your nipples, underbust. You must cover the area extending from your hips to the bottom of your pelvis and buttocks. Stuff like this has existed for a while, and yet people seem very confused. And maybe this isn't really an
I'm not
issue
confused, to be
on,
honest.
you know, Twitch's part of like having them in their policy, but Twitch making it a lot more clear, right? Because this stuff has existed for a while. And you know, they showcase what you cannot have in a model, right? And in the context of VRChat, you know, although the perception of many, it is a paradox for everyone who owns a 3D VTuber, VRChat is a good I can't say that word, stratagem, a potential way around the system, remembering, however, that the same VRChat avatar, if used outside of the game, will be subject to contravention if it does not have the appropriate attire. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to my next point. Why is it that hips like this are not okay in a VTuber model, but hips like this are?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It is kind of dumb, right? In my personal opinion, it is kind of dumb, right? I don't know what the reason is behind this actual situation, right? Because I think it's pretty fucking stupid, right? Because it's like whatever. But I guess it's like, I guess you can say because like one's in a video game and everything like that, right? Like quote unquote, you know, it is technically a video game. It's a fucking social game, okay? It's a video game, and it's kind of like the worker way around it, because it's kind of like, because the reason why, right? Because if you can clarify it, right, specifically about the situation, be like, oh yeah, also VRChat people also can't do this as well. But like for people to, you know, because since, you know, Twitch is so fucking vague with their fucking shit, you know, because Twitch is super vague when it comes to their fucking like policies and everything, so they're not really well like in depth or anything like that. So I feel like one of the things is like, if they say like, oh yeah, you can't show hips or blah 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 blah, right? If they would have just left the paragraph just like that, right, without saying, you know, oh, but video games is fine, right? Then it's just kind of like, then people will be questioning, wait, so is video games okay? Question mark, you know? Like, I can kind of see the reason, sort of, like, kind of, not really, like, in actual, like, in-depth, right? I can only try to, like, estimate and guess the reason why, right? Kind of like make a theory and whatnot of what the reason of why they want to fucking do this, right? What seems to be the reason why VRChat seems to be okay, and fucking like, whatchamacallit, live 2D is not, you know? I guess you can say like one's a fucking image, I guess, and like one's a like Like one's a picture, basically, like a moving picture. It's what it is. It's like a moving picture, you know. And the other one's like a fully like 3D in a video game space, you know. I don't know. Like I said, there's so many ways you can kind of look at this and kind of think up specifically talking about this, right? But anyways, you know, I'm just like, I'm gonna soon go do more future VRChat stuff. So to be honest, it really doesn't really affect me. So
Answer is very simple. VRChat's a game. VRChat has always been a game.
yeah, of course, it's always been a
lot
game.
of YouTubers don't remember or realize that.
Of course, it's been.
You can use VRChat to stream with your VTuber model, and that is okay.
Yeah, you can literally do, like, you can make a 3D model of your avatar, right? Of your 2D avatar, and you can still have all of this stuff in VRChat, you know?
But the thing is, Twitch sees it as a game. It is a game that is largely used by people who don't stream. And so when you are streaming the game, Twitch assumes that you are playing a game.
Yeah.
And Twitch's policies towards games has always been that implied nudity and what have you is allowed.
Yeah.
And so VRChat just falls under the category of a game. Hence, stuff like this is basically allowed in VRChat and not really.
Yeah, because I can do this 100% if I wanted to.
On VTuber models. Is this fair?
Well, no.
I mean, I'll leave that up to you to
No, it's not fair. It's completely kind of dumb, in my personal opinion.
decide, but realistically speaking, at the end of the day, if you are a flesh tuber or a VTuber, or in this case, like this streamer, they are both. Is this allowed? The answer is yes. Is this allowed? The answer is no. Is this allowed? The answer is yes. But TLDR, this is a lovely post by Ezzy Desu to wrap it all up here for everybody. All right. Twitch updated their community guidelines, including attire policies, and they're causing a lot of confusion to VTubers. These aren't new rules. They are clarifications, examples, and reminders for existing rules. Hips and pelvis exposure hasn't been allowed since April of 2020, 4 years ago, predating most VTubers altogether. Twitch is just reminding us because it's the source of lots of bans. You don't even have to cover much, as seen in the attached image down below, which is a separate image, but basically shows the same thing that I showed earlier, you know. And here is the exact blog post that I showed you earlier, detailing all of the attire updates that people are confused about today from 4 years.
I'm honestly not confused whatsoever. Like, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too smart for my own good or something, but I'm honestly not confused whatsoever. I completely understand why, you know, what seems to be the reason and everything, you know. And I haven't even used Twitch or so since, like, I've never used Twitch in 2020, so.
Years ago. Face streamers are getting banned for attire too, as I discussed earlier. You know, commissioning outfits for every new rule is unsustainable, and lots of these rules, as mentioned, predated most VTubers. Lots of warnings people get are because they didn't apply these sexual themes and content labels. That is also true. Twitch did have their content label update in June of 2023 when they said if you weren't updating your categories on Twitch, you would get banned for it, and they're now basically enforcing those rules. VRChat models are technically game models, as VRChat is a game. Same with partial not safe for work being allowed in other games, as those have different rules for attire. The people and models meant to represent you as a person. Wider exception are softwares. Therefore, models displaying that way follow the regular guidelines for VTubers and face streamers. Which, again, I understand the concerns between VRChat and something like Live 2D. Why is it that a VRChat model is allowed? Well, again, VRChat is a game. I know you use it for streaming, and I know you're probably like, well, you know, if I'm using it for streaming, then and I'm using this model, then it shouldn't be allowed the same way the Live 2D models are allowed. But again, I don't really understand how anyone can change that classification. But at the end of the day, VRChat is a game. It's always been a game. The developers have created tools to allow people to stream with VRChat, but it is still just a game. And going back to it, you can still wear very revealing clothing in hot tubs, pools, and beaches category, as long as you're in the virtual hot tub, pool / beach. Those rules are still the same. So wait. There's a category for this? There's a let's see. You can still be wearing revealing clothing in hot tubs / pools / beaches category, as long as
you're in virtual hot tub. Oh, virtual hot tub or virtual pool or virtual beach. Okay, I see.
Pool/beach.
I see.
Those rules are still the same. So is Twitch in the wrong here? I'll leave that up to you. But the rules have existed for...
I would be honest with you, Twitch is pretty dumb in my personal opinion for, like, you know, number one, banning hip windows, you know, or just hips in general. You know, but it's kind of, it is what it is, you know, at the end of the day, right? So it's just, you know, it's not my platform, it's no one else's platform, it's Twitch's platform at the end of the day. We're just using it or so to quote unquote make a living or try to make this as a career and everything, you know. Every time I hear hips, I read them as chips. Maybe I'm just hungry. Probably.
4 years, and VTubers are unfortunately now realizing that. And secondarily, is this targeted towards VTubers?
But even then, it's just like I already knew about this when they announced this back then. All they're doing is just doing a clarification or so, because apparently some people were still confused, and I'm just kind of like, how are you confused? It's pretty kind of like, you know, it says it right there, you know. So it's just kind of like, okay, sure, I guess.
The answer is definitely yes. A lot of people, I think, just didn't realize this, and it does suck. And Twitch is finally enforcing rules that have been in place for 4 years. Granted, a lot of people in the VTuber sphere specifically think that VTubers are targeted, and the answer is they are. Twitch has been banning a lot of them for unknown reasons, like we talked about.
I do have to say, like I said, some of the bans or so specifically that was happening, like Shonda and Feifei, right, are completely dumb, like overall in general, right? Like, honestly, like, there have been some bans that I do not approve whatsoever of what they've done, because I think it's, like, probably the most dumbest thing. Like some people theorize it's someone who had, like, a power trip or so just started banning people or so, just because I guess they don't like them or something like that. It could be like that. Who knows? I don't even fucking know, to be honest, at the end of the day, right? Anything is up in the air, you know?
Talk about Shonda, we talk about Fifi, and there are several others like them that have just been banned for no reason. And will Twitch basically be better about that? Hopefully they are. Hopefully they are. At the end of the day, everything here does suck. But Twitch clarifying rules for the past 4 years doesn't. And I think we all need to just come to terms with that fact and hope that Twitch is a little easier on VTubers going forward. But if they continue to just target VTubers in general and don't give exact reasons as to why they're banned outside of these policies, then that will continue to be a problem. But for today's policy update, I think at the end of the day, we're all just gonna have to go back to 1984, because ladies and gentlemen, it looks like that's where the internet is headed. This video might be demonetized.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, you know, it's just kind of like, does it kind of suck? Are they targeting VTubers? Probably. Who knows, actually, at the end of the day, right? It's all up in the air, right? It's all kind of like theories and everything like that, right? But does it suck? Oh, yeah, definitely. This is 100% kind of sucks, you know, in my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, right, most VTubers are usually like this, you know, where I'm positioned at, you know? Sometimes it'll be a little bit more smaller. Sometimes it'll be like... Sometimes they'll be like this or so, right? Sometimes they'll be like here, right? You know, they'll probably be like this, right? You know, to show the boobas and everything like that. Or some of the VTubers would be in this position or so, like this. You know, like they'll be in this position, you know, kind of talking about it in this sort of like zoom in feature. So even then, at the end of the day, not a lot of VTubers are going to get affected by it just because of this situation. But for most of those people who like to, like, you know, show, you know, their model and shit like that and all this stuff, right? And all this other stuff like this or so, then yeah, of course, you might have to change your tactics or so a little bit just to not have that situation happen, you know? It's just kind of like, yeah, it sucks, but you have to abide by the rules at the end of the day. It is what it is. If you don't like it, well, you can always stream somewhere else. There's always Kick. There's always YouTube. You know, at the end of the day, it's just whatevs, you know? Or go make your own streaming platform and then tell everyone else and then make money, and, you know, that's what it is. So it's because there's not really an alternative platform for VTubers, you know, for not having, or just a big heavy competitor in general for streaming, you know? Well, besides Kick, but nobody really wants to go over to Kick at the end of the day. But yeah, that, you know, that's it. You know, like I said, I'm not really confused about it, right? It's kind of pretty much straightforward in my personal opinion. Does it suck? Yes, it does. In my personal opinion, it definitely does suck, because, you know, there's probably, you know, I wouldn't mind having, you know, some hip windows or so for my future VTuber model, but since I can't do that anymore, you know, I might as well not do that, you know? So it is what it is. Maybe I might have it as maybe just for YouTube, maybe just for like maybe just previewing the model or something like that, or just have it as a toggle or something. I don't know, like at the end of the day, right? It sucks, but oh well. You know, what do you want me to do? You know? It's not like anyone can do anything about it. But yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Like I said, I kind of want to see this, or so it kind of popped up on my feed, and you know, I guess there was some clarification specifically about it, but it is what it is, right? I'm just gonna do that later, so I can put his channel, or so I can put his channel down in the description down below. Like I said specifically, I'm gonna call out those people who keep telling me in the goddamn comment sections to be like, it would be kind of nice if you actually sourced, if you actually put the link or so for the thing. How about this? How about I give you the YouTube channel of the person, and you can go subscribe and follow and give them a like and everything, you know, instead. I think that sounds like a better idea in my personal opinion, but hey, that's just me anyways. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Like I said, I'm catching those people who are in the comment sections that are pretty stupid, or so that never open up the description or so. But anyways, that's the end of the video. You comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff, and yeah, man, this is a sad day for hip windows chat. F in the chats. F in the chat.